Good morning, my friends. Welcome to the Needle Bug. This is Karen, and I thought today, since I had a question about the loop start with one strand of floss, that I would do a recording about that and also talk a little bit about how to make your X's neater and, well, I have to show you to explain it. So let's do the loop start first. I had shown you the loop start with one strand of floss with your X first leg going in the direction of lower left to upper right. But my question that I had a few people asking was how to do it when your first leg of your stitch goes upper left to lower right. Okay, so for me, that would be how I complete my stitch. For a lot of people, that's how they start their stitch. So it's a matter of looking at which corner do you initially come up in. That's the corner that you want your loop to be in. So if we look here, for example, we want to start on the thread that is an over thread. So your vertical thread is the thread on top, okay? So if we want our X to go this direction, upper right, upper left to lower right, okay? I normally start my X's in the bottom, so I am going to go down in this hole. Oh, pardon me, this camera is like not auto-focusing right today. My apologies. Let me see if I can get it back on track. Okay. Let's see. I might have to start this over. Let's use this. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Now, hopefully this will... Okay, there we go. Stay in focus. All right. So, I'm going to go down a side, on the whole aside of where the where my thread would come up to do my first stitch, and I'm going to leave a tail. I'm going to come up in this hole, okay? I'm going to go back down in that same hole and leave a loop. I'm going to come up in the opposite hole, which would be the upper left-hand corner. Okay. And now I'm going to put my needle through the loop and go back down in my beginning hole. Okay. There we are. And then I would just complete my X. Okay. Listen to my stomach growling. Okay. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I wanted to grab the scissors. And of course, don't we bump everything. Oh, it is not my day today. There we go. So let's do that again. Let's get the giant scissors here. Okay, let's do that again. You will go down opposite their hole that you normally come up in. Okay. You will come up in the lower right-hand corner. And you will again go down in the lower right-hand corner and leave your loop. Now I did find out it is best to try and keep that loop from twisting on itself. Now you want to come up in your upper left-hand corner. Okay. And you're going to go through the loop and you're going to pull it, and then you're going to go back down in the same hole of your loop. Hold on to your little end so you don't lose that, and pull it through, and then complete your X. Okay, got that? You might have to stop and rewind this and go back and do it. You know, watch it several times to get it. Now, let's do it where we start our, let's do it from the top corner now. Okay, and let me get this thread out of the way. Let me just pull it through to the back. Get too many hangy threads here. Okay, so let's do it where this is going to be our starting stitch. So we're going to go down in the upper right hand hole. Leave a tail. Okay, come up in your upper left hand hole. Go back down in the upper left hand hole and leave a loop. Come up in the lower right hand hole. Okay. Go through your loop and go back down in the upper left hand hole. Getting too many. Okay. And then you would complete your X. Okay. So the whole principle of the thing is, or the whole way to think about it is, whatever is hole number 1, where you come up to start your X, where you want to go down is to either the right, depending on your slant, to either the right. If you start in the, okay, let me, if you start in the bottom left corner, if that is your first stitch, you want to initially go down in the bottom right corner. Come up in the bottom left to make your loop. If you start in the upper right corner and you go to bottom left, so you start in the upper right corner, you want to go down through your fabric in the upper left, come up in the upper right to make your loop, and then come up in the bottom left with your thread that's going to go through the loop. So do you see how that's working? Wherever you're starting, you want to come up in a hole away from it. So whichever corner you pick, if you're starting that you stitch bottom left, upper right, your thread that goes down with the tail is going to go down in the bottom right. If you start in the upper right, your tail, where you're going to leave a tail, is in the upper left. If you start in the lower right, your tail is going to be the lower left. So that's what you have to think about when you are starting that loop stitch for over one. I really like it. I've been using it most of the time here of late. It's a nice little quick stitch. It leaves your back without any more bulk because you're cutting off your bulk. It's in the front and you're cutting it off. So nice little way to start. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about today is a lot of people are saying, oh, my stitches don't look so nice. They don't want to lay right. And, well, you guys know the drill. And there's something to think about in how you, and I know we talked about when you're doing over one of looking at the top thread, which direction that's going, whether it's vertical or horizontal, and your thread carry across the back going the same direction as that thread that you're crossing, the fabric thread that you're crossing. However, there are times where that is going to make your stitches look elongated. Okay, so let's just do a little example of that. All right, well, let me start down here a little bit further. All right, let me start over here. Oh, sorry, my stomach's grumbling a little bit. Do you hear that? I normally stitch bottom left, upper right. Okay, and then bottom right, upper left. So let's put another one in just for security's sake so that that thread is anchored. Okay. Now, this doesn't happen too much when you're stitching on the diagonal and you're stitching line by line because you're pretty much working just across the row and you're not always doing so much traveling. But when you're stitching cross country, you are doing traveling. Okay? So, say my next stitch is up here. Okay? Now, remember, I went down in this hole here. My next stitch is up here. See how that pulls when you go up there? It pulls up in that direction and it kind of distorts that stitch a little bit. So let's try another one, all right? Okay, so I'm going to stitch there. All right, now my next stitch is going to be up here. And now, see how it distorts it again a little bit? What you want to do is, if you are going higher, on your next stitch, for example. Okay. Instead of going here and crossing in this direction like I normally would, I'm going to flop that around, and I'm going to do from the top down. Now, why would I do that, you ask? Because now, when I go higher, I'm not distorting that stitch. Okay? So what you want to do is make it so that you're pulling back or up on the stitch as opposed to going down here, for example, and then I'm elongating the stitch. And that has something to do with why stitches don't look as tidy. Let me try that a little bit over 2, and you'll be able to see it a little better. So if I stitch here and I do to my upper right, and then I go lower right to upper right. I should have moved over a little bit. And now I want to go up here. Do you see how it just, or better yet, I want to go over here. Okay, see how that pulls in that direction? And what it tends to do is in the back, it covers that hole so that it doesn't open as nicely. So if I want to go up above the stitch I'm completing, instead of coming down here and going across to the top, I want to go top down. All right, and then up, because now I'm pulling back on that thread and it makes my stitches lay nicer. Okay, same thing if I'm going up here. All right, I want to go top down and then go up here, and I'm not doing, okay, because then that makes my stitches lay nicer. If I'm going to work downward from the place that I'm at, then I want to go bottom up to the top so that when I move downward, okay, I'm pulling this thread into this direction, which again makes my stitch lay nicer. Okay, so here, and okay, it's a little hard to see here. There we go, here to here, and go downward. So then it pulls back on this hole. Because if I would, like I said, if I would go upward, I'm going to go up here. It's going to pull this way, and it's going to make this stitch elongated and cover the back of that hole. And it's not going to, your stitches are not going to lay as uniformly. So the whole thing to remember is whenever you're, this is more important in cross country, whenever you're going to go up and above, you're going to go above to either the right or the left. you want to cross from here down so that when you go up, you're not covering the hole and they're going to lay a lot nicer. Okay. So it's all a matter of watch your thread and which direction you're going to start your next stitch. Um, I have to think about this again. Sometimes I have to think about it sometimes. So if I've crossed, like I said, if I've crossed, and I'm going to work down now, then I want to start in the bottom, go to the top, and come down. Because again, what I want to avoid is covering this hole in the back. Okay, so that's really the gist of that. So I thought today I would just do this quick video and share these two tips with you on how to make your X's look a bit neater. I probably could have put two threads in there and you might have seen it a little bit better, but I hope you get the general idea, and I hope you get the general idea of starting your threads on a different corner with that loop start. I hope that covers it all for you. So with that, that's what I have for today. Um, Stay tuned. In a little bit, there will probably be a Stitch With Me video. So once again, thank you for joining. Thank you for allowing me into your home and to share these little tips with you. And have a great stitchy day. Until next time. Bye.